fix this.
Welcome to Toy Business Unboxed, your gateway to the secrets of the toy industry. Here, Jason Shea, a toy entrepreneur and expert in the field.
Every product we develop is really inspired by some of the real life experience that we have with our son.
60% of all toys last year were sold on Amazon, which is incredible.
Be passionate about it because it's a road, it's a journey.
Like when you have an idea that you think is like gonna somewhat like change the world, make things better, I'd say go for it.
We'll guide you through the enchanting world of toy design, marketing, and manufacturing. Now let the unboxing begin.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Toy Business Unboxed. I'm your host, Jason Shea. And today we have a wonderful interview coming ahead with Kevin and Laurie, the creative mind behind Create a Castle. From a simple vocation inspiration to revolutionizing the sand and snow sculpture building businesses, they have an incredible journey that I'm going to share with our audience today. And we're going to discover how they turn their moment of frustration into a toy industry sensation, overcoming challenges and won multiple awards, including 2020's Outdoor Toys of the Years, and also get insight into their innovative spirit and also why they started the business. Thank you for joining with us today.
Our
Thank
pleasure.
you for having us.
Minor technical difficulty with my webcam, which is always wonderful when that happens on live stream. Give me 1 second to switch my camera back. So, and again, will you mind sharing the audience about what makes the idea of behind the Create a Castle? How does everything started for you guys?
You want to start or me?
Yeah, I'll start it. So back, what was it, 2016, we were on vacation.
Mhm.
And I had loved building sandcastles with my kids. We were going out to visit Laurie's family in California, in Laguna Beach specifically. And I couldn't bring all the big, bulky, sharp tools with me halfway, basically across the country from Connecticut to California. So walking down to the beach, I realized I saw this dad and son using a flip mold. And I had gone recently to the hardware store to buy all these tools, knowing I was leaving about $100 on the table. Buckets, tools, spatulas, you name it. I went and bought all of it to sculpt.
Mm-hmm.
And walking down to the beach, I see this dad and son using a flip mold
Mm-hmm.
and realize that there was a frustration point, and we all know it.
Mm-hmm.
Flip molds have been around forever.
Mm-hmm.
When you flip them and lift them, they generally don't work that well. The sand tends to stick inside.
Yeah.
Even if it does work perfectly, it's kind of a one-dimensional thing. It's very small, and you're limited to how far you could take the sculpture. That's when I realized that, they would probably love to be able to do what I was able to do after years and years of practice with my kids. And that's when I dreamed up Create a Castle to split the molds instead of lifting the molds, and also allows for stacking on the right kind of beaches.
Basically, that aha moment of there has to be a better way. Like, wait, I'm doing something. Everybody should be able to do this,
Yep.
Mm-hmm. I see. That's incredible. And I think I have 3 kids myself, 14, 10, and 6. And my son, especially, he's on the autism spectrum. He loves playing with sand. He does love playing with sand. When in my old house in Seattle, where you can still play outside during the summer. In Phoenix, you couldn't really play outside in the summer. It's too hot. So we had a sand pit in our backyard for my son that I built for my son, actually. So thank you for creating that. And too bad I didn't run into your company or didn't buy a toy earlier when I still have the sand pit in my backyard.
You got a reason to build another one now.
Okay. I did build another one in the desert in Phoenix.
Yeah, in the desert,
In the desert.
Add some water. You'll be
Easy to find the sand.
Yeah, that's a lot of sand. Not a lot of water, but a lot of sand. So what was some of the first steps that you took to turn this idea that you got into a tangible product?
Yeah, I think that night when I came up with this aha, like Laurie called it, the aha moment, I went home and literally not home, but we
We're
went back
still
to
on
the
vacation.
yeah,
Yeah.
we went back to our hotel and I started researching on Alibaba, on Amazon to see if anything like I was dreaming up existed.
Yeah.
And we went through the whole process of really developing this at that early stage. And then we took it, once we realized that there was really nothing on the market, I literally started ordering bigger buckets, like I think 8 to 10 gallon buckets versus the
Whoa.
traditional 5 gallon buckets, and modified them and started making crude prototypes by cutting them in half and zip tying them together. So
Whoa.
that was our
Yeah.
earliest adaptation to seeing if this was a realistic kind of approach to whether or not this would work, which is crude prototyping versus getting into CNC machining and that heavy cost that comes along with doing all that.
Yeah, he literally would take
Whoa,
the
okay.
zip tied bucket and go down to our like local lake beach. And I
Mhm.
mean, he would be down there at night so nobody would see what he was doing. And like the security guard at one point was like, "What are you doing here? You're not supposed to be here." And he's
He
like,
actually called the cops on me.
"Yeah, he called the cops on him once." But then they,
He
you know,
called a cop on you? Okay.
then they explain, he explained, "Listen, I don't want anybody to see this." And they were like, "All right, that's pretty cool." So they were very
understood.
good with, they
Yeah.
understood. So
Oh, okay. So do you have background in product design, or how do you even know about the CNC machine and all the other technical aspects?
So
Product
yeah, being an entrepreneur, you get thrust into things very quickly.
Mhm.
And just by chance, so my background is actually tech. I did a lot of website development, website engineering, sysadmin work, kind of the full spectrum.
Yeah.
And I happened to be working on another entrepreneur's project, helping the engineer launch into the Amazon platform. We were putting all the specs into Amazon.
Okay.
And that's when I started talking to the engineer saying, "Hey, I have this idea. Would you be interested in helping us?" And he said, "Absolutely." So that's when we started doing drawings in CAD and brought everything to life. And because I was in tech,
Mhm.
I had a friend who was working at MakerBot at the time.
Mm.
So he was literally like rapid prototyping 3D printouts for me once we got to that early development stage.
Oh, whoa. Okay. And how long does it took you from idea to the first prototype?
So idea to prototype was within a few months, right?
That's
maybe
pretty quick.
yeah,
Yeah.
maybe 6 months.
Yeah.
Because there were a lot of different, I mean, well, the very first 3D prototype was probably
Mhm.
just a couple of months. But then when we
Yeah.
actually did
The CNC
the
machine.
CNC prototype was probably about 6 or 7 months.
Yep. And then
Okay.
we through the engineer that we were working with is where we actually had our contact point with manufacturing. We actually started manufacturing in Taiwan.
Oh, well. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's where I'm
We
from.
did-
Yeah.
yeah.
Taiwan.
I
That's
remember
right,
you
yeah.
saying that.
Yeah.
So we
Yeah.
started, we did our CNC machining at multiple. Here's a big tip for everybody. Because our product has multiple parts, we CNC machined in 3 different factories throughout China. So they all did different parts. So they never
What is
really,
the advantage of doing that?
so they wouldn't know exactly what we were manufacturing.
Since ours was a first,
Okay.
we
Okay.
patented everything because it was the
Got
first
it.
time being done.
Done. I
So we
see,
didn't
I
want to
see.
send it and say, "Here you go."
Yeah.
Yeah, because then they can copy the whole thing, and with
Yeah.
China,
Exactly.
it's
So
very
yeah,
easy for them
so
to rip you
thank
off.
goodness, like Joel, big shout out to Joel, our engineer,
Joel Ho.
who's just
Yeah.
amazing. Thank you, Joel, who helped us develop this and
Yeah.
get it started in Taiwan and gave us that tip about, the
Do you
different-
have some
yeah.
of the product that you have it in person right now? You can show the viewer
I have
that's on
this
YouTube.
here.
I have the indoor.
Oh, I have
Yeah.
this right here, actually. Yeah.
All right, 600 feet.
Because it's hard to imagine, like, without you showing them, how is
Yeah.
yours different than all the other ones on the market?
So I'll show you the traditional. I actually have a traditional one right here.
Okay.
Sorry, it's real dusty. I don't use this much. So this, you fill it and you flip it and you lift it.
So sometimes some of that detail will come out, but if it does come out, it's kind of boring.
It's very
anyways.
limited
Yeah.
detail. There's really not much to it. There really can't be because you're lifting it. versus
see.
ours is
Oh,
two
wow.
pieces that snaps together like this, and you're going to roll the buckle over and roll the buckle over. Now you have a
When do
full
you put
cylinder.
the sand in? Do you put the sand in, then close it, or you
Yeah,
close it, then
no,
put the
no, no,
sand in?
no. You
Nope,
put it
you
first.
construct it like this. This would be flat on the ground, and you could start filling this. And when you're ready, you would just unbuckle, and then see these pull points right here is where you pull them straight back.
So instead
okay,
of lifting it like your brain is trained to do, because that's what you've always done, you actually pull it apart. So then the detail
Amazing.
stays, the castle stays together, and then we have the different size pieces.
Yep.
So you can stack them if the sand is good enough to stack, but
Yeah.
then you remove the pieces from the top down.
Yeah,
So
in
Top
sand
down.
sculpting, like Lori said, in sand sculpting, it's
Whoa.
always top to the bottom, right? And then
Top
it
to the
comes with
bottom.
all these more detailed tools with the kit as well, which is to cut windows or doors.
I know
make
there's also
brick.
professional sand sculpture. Do they also use your product for like professional sand sculpturing?
So some professionals that I have worked with actually do love using some of our tools to speed the process up. Generally, they can't use preformed molds in professional sand
really?
sculpting.
Okay.
They don't want to develop any of the bricks or anything. They want
Yeah.
to have to, do all that
to
by
carve
hand.
them, but
By
they can
hand,
use some of the tools, but they love we have one Dan in the sand down in Destin, and he actually gives classes, using our kits, and then shows
Yeah.
them his sculpting techniques as well. So, and we've kind of
Yeah,
started
yeah,
that
yeah.
whole lesson program ourselves. So, which is
And last
amazing.
time we talked, I think you guys are also working with Disney right now, right? Can you also share a little bit about your collaboration with Disney
Absolutely.
currently?
Yeah, we're very excited. We just started a program as a Disney port adventure or excursion. So in St. Thomas, and we're working with Anthony Schultz from Tropical Treasure Hunt. We're affiliated with his company. He does his
So
awesome
I can get a
pirate
discount for my next cruise trip to you
Yeah,
guys,
no,
right? I
when
get a
we
free
do, I'll
cruise?
give you one. When we get one.
Just come off the boat.
Yeah.
I'll work with you.
So we do these excursions. They can sign up online, or on the cruise ship for the Disney Fantasy that stops in St. Thomas, and then they get off the boat in St. Thomas and they come and they meet our team. Kevin will be down there, and then we have, depending on the amount of people in the group, we have other team leaders, and they learn how to use the kit. They have a bunch of kits provided. Sorry, our dog just busted in the not a kid busting in. We have a dog busting in.
Okay.
But they can do the port excursion, the port adventure right on the beach in Magens Bay. So, they build castles. It's family time. It's, time spent on the beach doing something fun together, and they can build these castles. And you traditionally couldn't do that because it would take too long as a traditional sand sculptor. But now with our kits, you can do that and then still be creative and add to it. I mean, it's amazing to see what the people come up with and the touches they put on it.
Yeah,
And,
it's not only about the time that it would take to do traditional sand sculpting. It's really about training other people to help, because we're doing this in mass. So our first two lessons have averaged around 40 people each.
Oh, whoa.
We're gonna
That's a pretty
we're gonna
decent
eventually
group.
so
Yeah.
we're gonna scale that up to anywhere from 100 to 150 each group.
Do
As
they
we
get
go.
to keep some of the product when they finish as well? Or?
they get a toolkit we're giving everybody because the size of our product. We talked
Yeah.
about maybe giving them a product to take home, or have that be part of the package, but people might not
big.
have room. So
Yeah.
we give them a toolkit which comes with the sculpting tools,
Okay,
which that's
okay,
small
okay,
enough in
smaller.
one of our backpacks. So
And then they can go to all their
Yeah.
other beaches while they're in the Caribbean.
Oh,
and
that's a
play in
great
the sand.
idea. Yeah.
they're loving it. And someone just sent us a message because we literally have just done 2 of these. Like, this is
Nice.
brand new, and someone just sent us a message. Thanks for the tool. So she must have been from the cruise line.
Yeah.
Which is pretty exciting. So
Okay, very cool, very cool. So now we talk about the pretty part of the business. The question I want to ask is, we all have our own struggle as a toy entrepreneur. What are some of the biggest challenges that you have faced in your early day of your business before you collaborate with Disney and all the the glory that you have right now? Everyone went through our own challenges, and will you also mind sharing how do you overcome some of the challenges in the early days of your toy journey?
even with Disney now, there's still, I mean, as an entrepreneur, there's struggles every day, you know what I mean? And when
Mhm.
something great happens, something else happens. So, you're
Yeah,
constantly on that
Ebbs and
entrepreneurial,
flows.
for
roller
sure.
coaster. But I mean, we've gone through so many challenges with starting with COVID. When we first
Mhm.
started, we kind of were just getting our feet wet into this business. I had worked for Disney actually for about 10 years, but I was on the retail side of it as a
Yeah,
district manager. And Kevin had the tech background. So we kind of went
yeah.
through the learning curves of, we started in Taiwan, but we were really paying too much. We didn't realize.
Oh,
And,
mm.
we actually got our kits all in pieces. So the
Mhm.
buckles were supposed to be attached, which they are now,
Yes.
but they were not. They came in separate. So every
Oh.
kit that came in,
We
we
had
had
to
to sit
assemble.
there and snap
Oh
a
man, that
buckle.
sounds like a nightmare.
Tens of thousands of
Oh,
kits.
I
no.
mean,
It was
we did this.
Oh
Our kids are
no.
like, I never want to attach another buckle again. I mean, like our friends, our neighbors, our family, like so many people attached all those buckles. But
Oh man.
so, we kind of learned, and then, we got into packaging and all of that. But,
Yeah,
so we kind of went through those where you just, you ask a lot of questions, you ask for help. You
Yeah.
don't ever hesitate to someone who's been there, done that. Don't
Yeah.
ever let your ego think, I can't ask it's a stupid question. No question is a stupid question. If you don't know the answer,
ask.
you got to ask somebody.
For sure, for
I
sure.
think the biggest hurdle would probably be one of the biggest hurdles is the shipping, all of the shipping issues that happened when COVID. So we won
Ah,
2020 Outdoor Toy of the Year.
yeah.
I'm so excited.
Mind you, we won 2020 Toy of the Year. We weren't even in a package yet. We didn't have box design.
It was just
Oh,
in the
really?
backpack. Yeah.
Oh, you
We
in the
had a hang
backpack?
tag.
Whoa.
We had a hang tag on a
Oh, whoa.
backpack. That was it.
Okay,
So,
okay, okay.
and
okay.
we won Toy of the Year. We were so excited, got all these purchase orders at Toy Fair. And 2 weeks later, the world shut down. So all the purchase orders were canceled.
Yep.
A few smaller stores kept them. But
Yeah, I remember in 2020, I have a container got stuck outside of LA, and I spent
oh, yeah.
$50,000 on that container.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. We
That was
spent
a very painful
our-
moment to see all that money sitting in the water, not coming
Oh,
into
yeah.
port because they couldn't receive anything into the port, and I
Yeah.
lost a lot of money that year
Oh,
too.
we lost.
Yeah.
We said because our normal container prices when we had first started were like 4,500 to 5,000 to get it from
Oh, during COVID, that
from
tripled.
overseas to us, right?
Yeah.
During COVID, right after that, we were paying 25,000 a container.
Yep,
So like
yep.
we were just like
Mhm.
flushing $100,000 down the toilet. You know what I mean? Like
Yes.
we weren't getting anything